Yeah, we suck right now. The culture is actually like, I'm just praying for the Lord to deliver me from the pick sixes.
As the new NFL season officially begins with the start of free agency, there are unfortunately some things we must go over. New rules. As with most things the league has done, it's allegedly meant to improve the game, but some of them have led to more controversy than not. One of these changes that totally won't cause this is the banning of the hip drop tackle. Any infraction called by officials will now be 15 yards and an automatic first down. Another judgment call penalty and a league plagued by them. Oh, wonderful. The replay booth can now review instances of roughing the passer and intentional grounding. But knowing how well the pass interference reviews went, my hopes aren't high. What could be ironically useful are the new kickoff rules. They had to do something about them. The kickoff had been relegated to nothing but touchbacks for the most part. If you watch the XFL this past year, there'll be a slightly modified version of them. The kicker kicks off at his 35-yard line, and the kickoff special teams line up at the opposing 40. All but two players on the return team line up at the 35-yard line, not to move until the ball is received by a returner. The goal for the kicking team is to hit it in the landing zone, between the 20 and the goal line. If a ball lands or goes out of the end zone for a touchback, the ball is spotted at the 30-yard line. If it goes out of bounds, it's spotted at the 40 like it was before. Onside kicks also must be declared, thus eliminating surprise onside kicks. We'll definitely be complaining about these things in the future, but their newest gift to us comes with 2 games on Christmas. Wednesday football is back after a 4-year hiatus. The NBA is seething in the corner. The Rams are in decent shape, especially with the revival of Stafford. To ensure his form, they need to protect their prize behind center. There are solid pieces, but it needs fortification. Kevin Dotson has done well here and has been rewarded with a handsome extension to stay put. Jonah Jackson, speaking of Detroit, is poached from there to join the Rams like a certain player. The secondary could also use reinforcements. And with Darius Williams, Cameron Curl, and the redemption arc of Tre'Davious White in tow, it should help out a bunch. Same as Kobe Parkinson for the passing game. But this day is a somber one. Aaron Donald will no longer feast on quarterbacks. He will now be enjoying life in retirement. One word: legend. He didn't even suffer decline and regression. Just accomplished everything he wanted to and moved on. Don't even make him wait 5 years, put him in Canton right now. Jimmy Garoppolo won't be going with him, but if there were a Hall of Fame for looks, he'd be first ballot.
The Los Angeles Rams select Jared Verse, defensive end, Florida State.
I don't believe it. Rams have a first-round pick. Thought they had traded at least the next 3. Yes, it's been a while since they've had one of these luxuries. Losing Aaron Donald to Ascension mode is devastating, and there'd be no way to truly replace him. Jared Verse is their attempt to at least try to shore up their defensive line. He's an edge rusher, and they addressed Donald's departure on day 2, so the new age of the Rams defense is here. They will be expected to have immediate impact. Godspeed, gentlemen. There's a quest for another ring to chase. This is going to be a somber season for LA. It's one without the shit wrecker known as Aaron Donald. I can't blame him for retiring, but the NFL world is weakened because of it. After a strong bounce back, the Rams are looking to maintain such form and then some. The emergence of Kyron Williams and Puka Nacua begins the new age. An underrated offensive line and defense shore up with young talent. As long as that O-line isn't getting suspended or injured. Matthew Stafford reviving to past form and slinging like his Detroit days. Most are still kicking, but it was only a matter of time before the old core started fading. And there will be more to come in the future. But the Rams have never been about sentimentality. They're about living in the present. And the present requires more shots at another ring. Fuck them picks forever and forevermore. And fuck Ernest Jones for some reason. Leave him up for that little? Pissing Sean McVay's cereal or something? As you can tell, things are a bit less linear than in the past. New suitors are eager to stake the claim from the usual suspects. The ones at the top will only relinquish such honor from their cold, lifeless hands. I think this year is a little of both. The NFC East has always been a conference that changes hands every year, so the Eagles will reclaim it for themselves. As for the NFC North, different story. I say Detroit reclaims it, but a few teams are hot on their tail. The NFC South, the conference we wish could be erased, goes to Atlanta simply by no Arthur Smith. And the NFC West, barring horrific injury, will be San Francisco's to lose yet again. Wildcards are a much trickier guess, yet I believe that Green Bay, Dallas, and Chicago take them. There are more than a few teams that I consider for these 3 spots, so I'm not dismissing them at all. But the NFC's just weird like that. It'll probably be wonkier than I expect. A grudge match of Wildcard Weekend. Excitement fills the air in the Motor City. Hope springing anew after their first deep playoff run since HW was in office. Aaron Donald only terrorizing the comforts of retirement. If the Lions may have won round 1, but the Rams are still a formidable foe. All you need to do is witness this fine Sunday night contest. We have ourselves a nice fight over here. A quality match between 2 equal competitors that neither team wants to crater in. Blows traded in tremendous spirit as we all watch in delight of quality. Jameson Williams might be breaking out for once. And I think we're getting prime Cooper Kupp this year. Also prime Matthew Stafford. Yet Detroit has power. Jared Goff may have thrown a brutal interception, but the Dan Campbell way is to say, fuck it, we're finishing this. Detroit's down by 3 late and they need to buckle down. They're not just gonna push down the field, they'll ram it through their esophagus. Not down, through. It's that serious. They'll settle for a field goal to tie, but punishments need to be reinforced with overtime. The Lions are just gonna punch them up the gut. Over and over and over again. All the way down the field to win the game. The Rams couldn't survive the onslaught despite their strong performance. It's a pity someone had to lose. Detroit was too stubborn for it to be them. I don't know how this could have gone any worse for the Rams. A team they usually own, and the Cardinals not only defeating them with ease, but teabagging their corpse until it respawns. This is Marvin Harrison Jr.'s show, and he's unleashing the full power. Everyone complained he didn't get the ball enough last week. He's gonna be fed to his fancy. He's drag racing his Maserati down the sidelines. He's doing burnouts and intersections in the Daytona infield for all I care. LA couldn't lay a finger on him, or Kyler, or James Conner. A potent offensive combination that leads Arizona to their most dominant win in years. A team showing true improvement, even if it is against the hobbled Rams team. Did you like Cooper Kupp's revival, boys? It's gone. Maybe for a bit. The whole team's in a morgue about to be cremated. A nightmare game of nightmare games. You guys are gonna need therapy for this one. Both of these teams are forced into conscription. Hobbled into battle with damaged and disabled goods aplenty in front of all the Niners faithful at SoFi Stadium. And they'll give them a show with their B team on offense, too. Who the hell needs CMC, Debo, or Kittle when you have Jawan Jennings? In the face of adversity, he's having his breakout moment. 175 yards and 3 TDs generating instant chemistry with Big Cock Brock slapping their nuts across LA's face. With a 14-point lead against the Little Giants version of the Rams, this should be a cakewalk. If it weren't for their defense giving up penalty after penalty. Lovely day. 1-score game. Field goals will be swapped between rivals on failed red zone drives, but there's another chance to make it a 2-possession game. Someone tell me San Francisco's most hated band today. The Moody Blues. Knights in white satin, this is not. Stafford just dices the Niners D faster than lightning and it's suddenly a tie game. But late in the 4th quarter, Shanahan's got a chance to overcome and win it. All he needs is another first down.
Rams bring an extra man on the pressure. Purdy steps up, looks deep, Purdy ball! Hold on!
Buddy, no! Shanahan's tears dropped to the ground like that pass. You have to catch that. That would have won the Niners another home game. They would have escaped the hounds of hell. Not with Stafford's penchant for comebacks. Have you learned nothing from his time in Detroit? Or are you surprised that it happened again? Welcome back to Field Goal Range. Now bring it home and send these fans away miserable.
Purdy, comeback, complete, Rams win, taking the lead with 2 seconds left.
Sean McVay still got it. No big weapons and a D team for the lineup, they'll beat their rivals. Shanahan choking narrative won't go away, but that's been a thing since 28-3. This was more about the Rams and their resolve. Their season lives on. Like a zombie, it shuffles to its next victim. A critical juncture for the Bears. The fan base is livid with Shane Waldron. The players are livid with him too. The offense fails here like it did for large chunks of the first half, the situation would be perilous. Fortunately, the Rams are depleted and burned all their energy in beating the 49ers. Chicago took quite a bit to start up. But once they did, their faulty engine was enough to drive off with the win and a sense of security. probably with DeAndre Swift at the helm. Not bad for a guy who was about to lose his role as lead back. It wasn't anywhere near pretty, but Caleb showed progress as a QB. He took what was in front of him, he didn't try to force throws, and he led his team to victory. This is the kind of stuff you need to see from a rookie. Maybe against an absolutely dead team in the Rams, but wins are wins. That'll at least get the heat away from Eberflus and Waldron for a bit. You should be thanking the man that saved their bacon, Tory Taylor. You want your punt god, you have him right here. Close second to that defense for nearly killing Matthew Stafford. 2-2 is indeed salvageable. Like the last game recapped, this was apparently an interpretation of the game of football. Packers fans are going to make this a glorified home game, yet Green Bay chose to make it the closest simulation to Lambeau in January. Ugly is not a strong enough adjective to describe what happened here. This was Lovecraftian, a grotesque deformity built out of hatred and greed. Little was done in the first half besides turn it into a criminal offense. Jordan Love, in a valiant effort to avoid a safety, pulls a Kyler Murray to generously give up 4 more points. You never pull a Kyler. Ever. If the Rams were anything resembling a real team, Green Bay would have had a Parmesan wheel shoved up their ass. Yet LA is devastated by injuries, incontinence, and invalidity. In any particular order. In front of their transplant crowd, the Packers realize that they need to win to keep up with the Vikings and create a tasty concoction. Tucker Kraft macaroni and cheese. Everyone loved that shit as a kid. It's purely Wisconsin. With this tasty treat, the Packers win in quotations. Win because they had the most points, not because they played anything resembling a complete game. The Rams are dead. We knew this since week 2. We now return to your regularly scheduled chess meeting in Wisconsin. All the embarrassing teams in the NFL this season, and there are plenty of them, you have to be special to take the crown of shit. I argue Las Vegas might be the most pathetic of them all. Or at least close to it. In another glorified home game at SoFi, the faithful donning silver and black get to see a spectacle of sludge. AOC sucks, but somehow it can get even worse. Know how to prove it? An injury to AOC that takes him out of the game. Gardner Minshew is back as the epitome of Florida man. If Florida man got brain damage from bath salts. The greatest meme in Las Vegas put on a show that would get him booed off the stage in 5 minutes. He's not just terrible, he's an absolute liability. A man who nearly took a decrepit Colts team to the playoffs suddenly turning into a fucking pastry chef. 4 turnovers on the day. This guy beat the Ravens earlier in the year? How'd he do that, with a stunt double? The Rams are fucking out here begging for death and they can't pull the trigger. They do it to themselves and repeat. Antonio Pierce looked like the right choice to coach them at the time, but he's Freddie Kitchens with vibes. The Raiders are deep in the red zone. It's 4th and 4 with a chance to tie. But there's a false start penalty. So they choose to kick a field goal. Down by 8. I know your offense is shit, but for fuck's sake, Antonio, you were supposed to be the antithesis of McSnake Oil, not embrace its vices. You're not a good team? No shit. This might be the death blow to their season. I'm not joking. Losing to the likes of the Rams Z team makes you an unserious franchise. The Raiders tried to get out of square one just to end up back at square one. And AOC's gonna be out for a while. Any chance they can get Tom Brady to play QB for them? He's the best option in their entire franchise. They call it the Honolulu flu. Whenever a team loses to Detroit the preceding week, the Lions use a poison attack to drain them of HP in the next game. Sadly for the Vikings, they failed to pack any health items to compensate. In Rams' house, there was only a comedy of errors and frustrations. LA used a siphoning spell to get Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp back. The Vikings only get defensive failures. It'd also be really damn nice if the Vikings could stop taking penalties on crucial 3rd downs. Brian Flores suddenly got cold feet against Matthew Stafford and stopped blitzing for some reason. Then what's your defense good for? Could have set up a fucking lawn chair in the pocket, he was so untouched. This oversight alone cost them the game. Sam Darnold's been a revelation, but he and Jefferson can't do every damn thing. Please don't tell me this is going to be the classic Minnesota starts out strong and falls apart to miss the playoffs act. Shit's stale. The Rams more than proved it as their zombie team overwhelms another victim. Yet even in this moment, ref ball takes center stage. Not only missing a blatant face mask to end the game, but saying that nobody had a clear view of it. There were several refs watching it happen, you fucking dolts! The Vikings were more than going to lose this game on their own. Christian Darrisaw had a hit taken out on him before half. They're suffering enough. Look, I don't have a problem if you fuck up, but don't play dumb and gaslight the rest of us if you do. Congrats, Zebras, the money line and the Rams covered. I'm also betting the money line on Byron Young donating a mandatory tithe to the NFL's pension funds soon. There's one thing I'd all but guarantee in the NFL world, it's the Seahawks never ever playing a normal football game. Reeling from whatever the fuck last week was, this was a must-win affair against a hated rival. One trying to salvage a season overtaken by injuries and insolvency. The Rams may have players returning, but the only thing Seattle gives them is a sense of inferiority. This game itself is inferior. In the House of the 12s, there's just a lot of stagnation. Mainly from the Seahawks repeatedly shooting themselves in ways that would make Plaxico Burress cringe in disgust. LA's gonna keep it as close as they can in a tepid, low-key game. Seattle can do much of nothing for long stretches minus splash plays by JSN. Even then, the game's tied at 13. Gino and the Seahawks are moving the ball with a chance to take the lead. Near the goal line, they can make their strike.
First and goal from the 6. Smith can't find anyone. Backpedaling. Throws picked off. Intercepted in the end zone and brought back out. Geno Smith picked off by Kitchens.
I was under the impression that Gino was good. What the fuck was that? Seattle's special teams can even block a punt, generating more hope and a chance to tie the game. Inside the 5 yet again, and Smith goes back to his Jets form. I think the Geno magic is gone. To be fair, it's expected from a team that exists to give their fan base heart attacks on repeat. It's the same shit over and over again. The Rams can bury them, but are unable to get past this defense. But as I said, the Seahawks must be cardiac. That is the only way they know things. The heart attacks must continue thanks to their final drive.
From the 14 on first down. Smith to the end zone. Smith and Jigba. Touchdown!
Turns out Jackson Smith and Jigba's really goddamn good. Maybe Gino has some magic left in him after all. Like anything resembling Seattle's ambitions, it's going to be warped in the chaos realm that is overtime. The Seahawks will get ball first. Continue to punish a battered team to hell and back. Until they get to the red zone. The passing game's been working for you? Don't care, run the damn ball to minimal success. Then 4th down, you're going for it? In overtime? And you're running that play? Are you brain damaged? Just take the points and trust your defense. Not that it matters since Matthew Stafford's dicing up this papier-mâché D like it's nothing yet again. Maybe that's why they went for it. Just finish them off. Make these fools suffer in the shit stew they made.
2nd down and 6. Fake to Williams. Stafford fires downfield. For a touchdown by Robinson. The Rams win it.
That's it, I'm done with the Seahawks. They're a bunch of fucking frauds like they were last year. So many self-inflicted wounds they'd be 3-1-2'd in the real world. Get the fuck out, Seattle. Get out. Don't come back until you learn how to play a normal football game. LA, thank you for exposing these fuckers for who they are. Your reward is a division led by Arizona? God, what have you done? This was some awful football to watch. Both of these franchises aren't close to 100% nor legit contenders, and it showed. A comedy of errors for offenses ahoy. The powers of their might were transferred to the Thursday night affair. Defenses will feast on caviar and skill positions tonight. Mostly because neither side is a goddamn offensive line. Does anyone care to block anymore? Tua's head's turning into primordial soup and the Rams just trip over themselves. Hope you saved room for dessert because there are plenty of turnovers to go around. In the muck, someone had to come out on top. And LA just kept making careless mistake after careless mistake. Miami's offense was mostly useless, but even the most hobbled of teams can take advantage of it. The win was unsightly and grotesque, but the Dolphins managed to stop the bleeding. Well, hypothetically. Their defense is still getting the shit beaten out of it. It's gonna be a very long road for both franchises. And this might be the game that cost the Rams a playoff spot. Have you seen the NFC? It's cutthroat as all hell. This was a surprisingly tense quarterback battle for two teams past their peak. On one side of the coin, Matthew Stafford showing the world that he still got it. Remember those injury ailments that threatened his career a few years ago? They were scaring us for a moment, but with the performances he's put on, the Rams will still be a threat to contend for January. Even if it is just as a mid-tier team. 4 touchdowns making a magic symphony through the air, and New England's secondary can only watch in awe. annihilation of their sacred ground and defensive might on all fronts. And a 28-13 lead makes it tough to come back. Yet on the other end, Drake May is showing he could very well be something at this level. He's doing everything he can to match Stafford in this duel. And he doesn't have a Cup or Nakua to throw to. The Patriots are making mistakes, but they're still fighting. And a few defensive stops by New England, and suddenly it's a one-score game, and May has the chance to make his mark. The ability to become a hero in the NFL. This final drive will prove many things.
13. May deep downfield, nobody's looking for it. Cam Kitchens was ready for it, and that's your ball game right there.
Mostly that they need a team around Drake. At the very least, the Patriots can say they have potential under center, but the Rams were the stronger team. New England just made too many fuck-ups. LA capitalized on them to secure a much-needed win. Such is life. Nothing you can do but lick your wounds and pray things get better. See, Eagles, this is why I was pissed with you for most of this year. Because I know what you're capable of. Look at what they did against the Rams. Look at how they took on a team in a must-win situation and dismantled them while barely lifting a finger. Philly flocked to SoFi to win the crowd battle, and they more than won the game. They proved themselves as a higher-tier franchise than the middling group that tried to face them. Let them have the illusion of competitiveness in the first half. They'll rip them to shreds when the veil's lowered. God, Saquon is such a fucking monster. He alone can carry worlds with his legs without breaking a sweat. And that's not even considering his efforts with Philly. Over 250 yards rushing against what was supposed to be a formidable defense. 300 all-purpose yards. This is why they signed him. And he's more than thriving in his new home. An Eagles win flying at full potential and Giants fans copium with letting Barkley go? It was near perfection. Even Sirianni couldn't botch this superiority. There's only one reason I say it was near perfection. And that's Brandon Graham. He's probably played his last snap in the NFL. That's the cost of a season, unfortunately. To make an omelet, you need to break some eggs. Witness two franchises that need this win more than a human being needs air. An oasis in a desert of attrition and agony. The Saints and Rams in a winner-take-all matchup. Definitely hasn't happened before, right? What hasn't, though, is New Orleans' misery. Touchdowns too often come undone by an ineligible man downfield penalty. Counter that with a low block to end dreams of a touchdown. Kick it wide left to get nothing out of the drive. New Orleans stonewalled the Rams' offense for the entire first half. First time a McVay team's been shut out for 30 minutes. Yet it doesn't matter when the Saints just can't find a way ahead permanently. LA scores a touchdown on their first drive in the second half and it suffocates. The Aints in a nutshell. Everything in their power just to come up short. Unable to overcome the Rams' offensive menace. It finally showed up. Those final two drives, it was like there wasn't even a defense on the field. Yet there's one more issue to go over. New Orleans is trying to push to tie the game late. It's entirely predictable these days. Push down the field, get in the red zone, the standard kind of script. Then let the cards fall where they lie. A stalled drive. Stripped from them like a Derek Carr sack on 4th down. LA ripped their hearts out at the Superdome in 2019 and it happened again here. Just for entirely different reasons. The Saints just aren't good enough. The Rams have the better coaching game plan. And it showed with this gutsy performance. Yet for their desperately needed victory, we have suffered a terrible tragedy. New Orleans may have lost the game, but it pales to their real devastation. We've lost Taysom football. His season is over. The Swiss Army knife has been broken by a low hit to the knees. They've barely started recovering from that moment. You just can't give them another immediately. It's that time of the year again. When the playoffs start to peek into the picture and we discuss the scenarios at hand. The NFC's a bit tighter. The Motor City currently leads the pack, but Philly's hot on their tail. The division ranks are pretty safe otherwise. Seattle and Atlanta hold claim to some very weak conferences this year. That means Minnesota and Green Bay have the potential to feast if the cards fall right for them. Washington got off a cold streak and comfortably hold the final seed in the meantime. At 6-6, the Bucks, Cardinals, and Rams still have a shot, especially in their divisions. Meanwhile, San Francisco, Dallas, and New Orleans are clinging on for dear life. And I mean it. There's been a lot of disappointment for teams this season, but there's still a chance they remembered the rules.
Don't get eliminated!
Remember the Week 1 slaughter of the Rams at the hands of the Bills a few seasons ago? LA's been circling this date on their calendar for a while now. They're gunning for revenge in the most insatiable of ways, and it'll be with the power of offensive might. If you're a defense in this contest, feel free to take the day off. This game's gonna be a throwback to 2019 football. These quarterbacks are merely gonna use them as decorative pieces to concoct artistry on the field. Over 900 yards combined on the day. Josh Allen and Matthew Stafford putting together a show that bedazzles the many in attendance and watching on TV. The odds were all but impossible, but LA managed to stay ahead and pull through at the end of the day. What a gutsy performance by the Rams. Their backs against the wall in a must-win situation with everyone doubting them, and they potentially save their season in the process. Puka Nacua is a man possessed by spirits beyond this realm. That's the only explanation I have for his heroics. Huge reception after huge reception, bringing LA's season from the brink of despair to an aura not seen since their Super Bowl run. An upset of upsets. And they can safely say they beat them without cheap parlor tricks. Buffalo tries everything they can to get back in the game, but their defensive unit can't make a stop to save their lives. Don't trust them with anything related to that. It'll burn them in the end. And the result might have cost them a chance at the number 1 seed. Josh Allen chose to install the Joe Burrow simulator on his computer. He threw for 3 TDs, ran for 3 TDs, yet still lost in the end. Those fans can bitch about ref ball all they please, but the real villain is one in their ranks. Sean McDermott is a 1st and goal down by 9 late with all 3 timeouts. And he runs a quarterback sneak to no avail. And he burns a timeout. The game was over right there. 40 precious seconds off the clock. It's the Texans game all over again. Well done, Sean. I haven't seen a situation crash to the ground like that since Shanksville. Maybe next time you'll waste another immaculate Allen game with your defensive genius like you always do. 1 month left. Get your tickets to the postseason ready now or be left out in the cold. We know the drill by now. The NFC's road is still undecided. Detroit stays ahead with a crucial win over Green Bay, but Philly and Minnesota are still hot on their tail. Thanks to Atlanta's catastrophic implosion, Tampa Bay has reasserted itself for the NFC South lead. The Seahawks still remain on top of the NFC West, but things could be getting shaky there with a loss on Thursday. A bye week for Washington maintains their 7th seed, yet rivals remain. The Rams and Niners want in. There's a chance the Falcons could get their shit together. Arizona could make miracles happen. Probably not, but you aren't out of the dance until you hear the dreaded words told to a few teams already. You know them by heart.
Don't get eliminated!
These teams scored over 90 points last week. I just know everyone sat around the fire and said, I miss really awful Thursday night football games. Because we got ourselves a slopfest of misery equaling the weather conditions in Santa Clara. Nobody can do a damn thing. Seriously, nothing. I hope you like punting because that's the highlight of the night. The end zone's been disabled, field goals only. San Fran had more punting yards on the day than offensive yards by a country mile. Endless fuck-ups that only reveal traitors in their midst. Debo talks all that shit about how he's not getting the ball enough and proceeds to do that. Congrats, asswipe, that drop just cost your team the game. And he wasn't even the most embarrassing player on the damn field. Devondre Campbell channeled the spirit of Vontae Davis and just said fuck it and left. Saw what Deontay Johnson did last week and told him to hold his release papers. Maybe they were gifted to the opposition like Brock's throws. The Niners aren't just losing, they're smoldering with every bad luck outcome imaginable. Loss number 8, humiliatingly swept by the Rams, point of no return. You're fucking cooked, hand in your jacket at the door. Don't give me the injury excuse. LA was wrecked at the start of the year and managed to come back from the dead. Rumors of the Rams' demise were greatly exaggerated indeed. But impressive the run they've been on. And playoffs are a very real possibility. Go smite those before you once more. 3 games remain. This week was critical in deciphering the playoff formulas, but it doesn't mean that we're anywhere close to a solution. The number 1 seed in the NFC is now a 3-way tie. The Lions still have control, but the Eagles and Vikings are hot on their tail and coming fast. Philly can also claim the NFC East with a win or Washington loss, but the Eagles aren't going to implode, right? The NFC North is a mosh pit, made even more so by the attrition on Detroit. Minnesota or Green Bay could easily take it. But the NFC South is Tampa's to lose. Hopefully they won't choke it away like Atlanta did. The NFC West is between Seattle and the Rams with the Cards and Niners on life support. This division probably gets settled with a Week 18 showdown. The wild cards are all but set and can be officially claimed if Green Bay wins and Washington wins and gets help. The NFC especially is going to be a ride moving forward. Get ready. These words are going to come in handy.
Don't get eliminated!
Former times when Aaron Rodgers would play Matthew Stafford, it'd be an offensive showcase. It wasn't anything like that today. LA's offense would sputter for the most part. And The first half would be agony for anyone in attendance, but they simply had to wait this one out. Great news, Jets fans, you didn't punt the ball today. It may have resulted in only 9 points, but New York witnessed the transformation from agony to comedy. Endless butt fumbling on the field of play, emphasizing the horrors of what are the 2024 New York Jets. Turning over the ball on downs 3 separate times. Aaron Rodgers burned at the stake as if his opponent's an offensive line or Ryan Clark sympathizers. Then add another turnover on downs to that. Finally miss a field goal for good measure. New York, you didn't pray enough for Anders Carlson. Honestly, the Rams didn't even do much, yet they never needed to. New York was sitting there beating themselves the whole damn time. They're gonna get the worst punishment possible. Woody Johnson's kids altering their ratings on Madden. Run it back. You're fucking trash that LA sweeps away for their own ambitions. The time has come to crunch. We're nearing the finish line. And there's still plenty of positions at the round table to play for. The NFC East is still in play after Philly's shocking upset at the hands of commies, but they aren't gonna blow this, right? But the NFC North and number 1 seed are intertwined. Lions and Vikings battling it out in the Great War of Life. Take a guess who plays one another in Week 18. This is where both are probably gonna be decided. A curveball's been thrown into the NFC South. Tampa's loss and Atlanta's win make it all but a coin flip. But the Falcons have tiebreakers, so the Bucs are gonna need help. LA now has firm control over the NFC West, especially since they have tiebreaker. They're gonna need to lose twice and the Seahawks win twice for Seattle to make it. They do play in Week 18 though. Washington's pretty much got the last NFC wildcard spot, so the options are dwindling. Don't be left out in the cold, NFL world, lest you suffer the greatest humiliation.
Don't get eliminated!
I think the last time these two met, the Rams were all but dead to rights with an injury report rivaling the Lions of today. Now with LA having everything to lose, it becomes an ungodly slog like most games so far this week. Both offenses sloppy and sluggish. Arizona at least has the legendary inconsistency excuse. What the hell's the Rams' problem? Is the attrition on their O-line that bad for them these past few weeks? Sure, they have a 10-point lead, but LA's reeking of a first-round exit with performances like this. Their defense can't keep performing miracles, and it's only a 4-point game in the fourth quarter. This is where Kyler can prove himself as the Cardinals' future. We've long been waiting for him to take that next step. He's driving this offense with authority. To an arm punt. Oh, god damn it, Kyler. The Rams offense can't do anything with the opportunity. And thanks to said offensive incompetence, the Cards are charging forward in the waning moments. Kyler skimming the top off this defense and an alarm to the few people who aren't watching bowl games. This is Arizona's chance to spoil. You try for a field goal, but that blocked extra point from earlier is rearing its ugly head. Even better, just kill them off for the night. Pay dear Seattle a favor in the process.
Murray's going to throw it to the end zone. Up in the air and intercepted.
Oh, for fuck's sake, Arizona. Kyler sniped a headshot to perfection, but friendly fire was on. You boys have been practicing this for how long and you still fuck it up? You gotta execute there. Just like your season was executed on the spot. In Cardinal tradition, an end-of-season collapse is their reward. The only consistent in all of it has been Kyler. Just putting it out there. But for the Rams' outcome, we'll have to wait until the Sunday games. They can clinch the division if a few things go their way. This week settled a lot of questions, particularly with seeding in the AFC. The contestants have dwindled to a few, but there are a couple of spots up for grabs. On the other side, the NFC number 1 seed and the NFC North are tied up in a Week 18 contest. Vikings against Lions. Winner take all. Loser doomed to a wildcard spot. All or nothing, the best way to go. Meanwhile, the NFC South has been all but assured for Tampa Bay after last week's revelations. However, it's not fully secure. A loss to the Saints combined with a Falcons win gives it to Atlanta. Oh, what a time it is to be a fan. The stakes are higher than ever. And there are 3 words that echo throughout time and space.
Don't get eliminated!
The 18th week of the season, Jimmy Jesus has risen to grace us with his presence. The Rams have nothing to play for since the division's already locked up, so the backups are out here getting some reps in. Even for facing their B squad, the Seahawks are keeping this uncomfortably close for some reason. Their offense showing flashes of elite play but mass inconsistency, and the defense giving up yards through the air en masse. It's a neck-and-neck contest with spirited fight and unwavering resolve. Seattle may think an 8-point lead is safe, but with Jimmy Jesus guiding them to a touchdown, it isn't. Bad news, they're in field goal range thanks to a long pass to Jordan Whittington. Field goal's good, Rams have the lead. But Geno sees the real prize in his grasp. The bonuses to be had if they win. The rallying cry are the dollars that will rain down upon them in victory. And he'll push them with everything he has to a touchdown and retaking of the lead. Yet it isn't over. LA's in the red zone with time winding down. 4th down is upon them. Roll the dice.
Down in 3 for Garoppolo and the Rams. Garoppolo looking, throws underneath, incomplete.
Of course Seattle wins when there's nothing to play for anymore. Tie records don't matter when you fail to beat the Giants, merely dropping the Rams to the 4th seed in the NFC. The real winner today is Geno Smith's wallet, securing a cool $6 million in bonuses for his efforts. 10 wins for the mediocre football team. Huzzah! Not for you, Ryan Grubb. You're useless, get the fuck out. The final stage is set. 14 teams remain and are ready to duel to the death. Only one shall remain. And the defending back-to-back contender receives a first-round bye to recharge their mana points for more bullshit. Gunning for revenge, Buffalo has a shot, but will have to take care of business against Denver first. The Ravens receive another showing of AFC North football. The rivalry with the Steelers will add another chapter after Pittsburgh's near-traditional collapse. Liquid LA usurps the 5th seed at the last moment and will travel to Houston to face an ailing fraud squad. In the NFC, the Lions stand tall, despite missing several limbs and vital organs. Coming in second, Philadelphia controls it and faces a team that's upended such a foe last season. Be careful with Green Bay. I'd also be careful if I were the commies. Tampa Bay's been playing with fire, and in their home stadium, it could be a nightmare. Meanwhile, Minnesota's forced to head to LA for a master versus apprentice showdown. Things are hopefully going to get spicy. When there's no more room in hell, the dead shall roam the earth. A team left to rot after starting the year 1-4, devastated by injuries, having little to show in a mid-tier drift into the abyss. But they were infected. LA stumbles and shuffles as a reanimate. And they've been hard to kill since the bye. Matthew Stafford leading an offense that's been quite cold these past few weeks. But then somehow go toe-to-toe with the wagon and the Bills, so yeah. The paradox of the Rams. They might have won a weak division because the Niners were cursed by their own hex, but LA don't care. When the Necronomicon's involved, logic is futile. Which is why a team with a minus 21-point differential made it to the dance in general. More shenanigans with Kyron, Cooper, and Puka are inbound. What could finally finish them off? Perhaps being forced to relocate this game might. This season has taken us from football heaven to the depths of unwatchable hell. When there's money to be made, the product does not matter. Yet the playoffs are a different beast. In the end, there can be only 2 contenders dueling for the ultimate prize. I'm not even going to try to be optimistic it's going to be Chiefs versus Eagles. The matchup no one outside those cities want because the football gods desire salt. They're shitposters at heart. Very predictable ones, but I respect the dedication. We all hope for something different, but we said that last year. Look what happened. Regardless, good luck to all teams involved. They're probably gonna need it. There's only one major flaw with being a zombie franchise. They tend to be sluggish in the cold. Going into Philly would be a challenge to begin with, and then the high-end talent took over. No use in being undead when Saquon's simply gonna kill you again. And again for good measure. It was a tight game. The Rams did everything to keep it close, but then the fumbleitis hit them at the worst possible times. They can blame the snow or something. Too bad you can't blame that for Saquon being Saquon without breaking a sweat. And that's not the most agonizing part. The Eagles did the whole nearly choke the game away at the last moment thing. But then they remembered the teachings of inner excellence and finally killed off the reanimate. Last year was the end for Aaron Donald. This may have been the last game for Matthew Stafford. The old core continues to whittle away for the new. Meanwhile, Jared Verse is currently sitting in the old jail cell at the vet for talking endless shit.